Alright then, I've been watching videos about wrestling on YouTube for like a few years now, about 3-4 years, and it's very rare that you come across a book review, or wrestling book reviews on YouTube, so I thought, I'll do my own, like, if people are interested in buying books, then I'll give you my opinions on the books, tell you a bit of information about them so they'll get a bit of an idea. And this is going to be the first book that I'm going to review. It is Chirs Jericho's A Lion Tale Around the World in Spandex. This book takes you from his early life up until he debuts at the WWE the very first time in 1999, with the whole Y2J countdown clock, and then he interrupts The Rock on Raw. Takes you right up until that moment, so this is a book for like the wrestling fan, not much of a WWE fan because he doesn't talk about his WWE career really at all in this book, so if you want to know about that, this isn't the book for you. The publisher of this book was... let me have a look. Orion Books, it says here. This isn't a WWE book, which it really adds to the effects of the book because it's not kayfabe. He doesn't have to hold stuff back. Like, he was a big draw at the time, so he didn't have to worry about, well, not a big draw, but he was a big deal to them, big money to them, so he didn't have to worry about them being pissed off with whatever he'd written in this book, because he could go back at any time like he did in the end without any backlash. So yeah, this book costs $10.99 English. Now if I'm looking at the other books that I'm going to be reviewing, this is the cheapest one, like off the top of my head that I can remember. Regal's book cost me about 19 quid. Ted DiBiase's about 13. Batista's was like over 10, I think. So yeah, this is the cheapest book and the best one so far. So yeah, a little bit of information about it. Like, nice and colourful, this book, unlike the others. If you have a look in at that, like, high quality stuff, and inside there's little pictures. I'll show you through them. So yeah, nice and colourful in there. It's quite an easy read, he's very comical in the book. It's not a difficult book to read. It's not like a child's book, it's not for 10-year-olds obviously. It's probably aimed at young 20-year-olds, like around the age of 20, around my age. I'm 22. The high end of the teenage years to like the early end of the 20 years is probably aimed for that, and obviously fans of his. Highlights of the book. It's a very funny book. It's probably the only book I remember laughing out loud whilst reading, or at least the only wrestling book that I've laughed out loud while reading, because there's a story about him, I think in Mexico, and a fan throwing like a cup of piss on him. Like, the way Jericho tells the story is just so funny. I can't remember how he words it or like what even happens. I think that at the time Jericho thought it was beer, and he starts to lick it off his face, then he realises it's not beer, it's piss, and the way he writes it is just so funny, it made me laugh. Low points of the book, I don't think there isn't any low points in the book. This is probably the best book, along with Bret Hart's. This is probably the best book I've ever read, wrestling book. Probably any book, because I'm not really a big fan of novels to say. I've read the Harry Potter books when I was younger, but this is better in my opinion. You get a sense of Chirs Jericho as a person and as a wrestler, and how he came to be. The stuff with his mum being in an accident when he was younger and getting in a wheelchair. It's quite a sad story. He comes out quite arrogant in this book, I think, as well, so that's probably a low point. Also, he's got another book coming out. I don't know when he's going to bring it out, but obviously he's got another book in him. I think he mentions in this book that he's got 3 parts, I think he said. Obviously he's got to write about his WWF 10 years first one, and then I think when he leaves WWE this next time, he'll write that book. But yeah, that's be worth reading as well. Would I buy this book? I would definitely buy this book. Any wrestling fan who's interested in reading books, you need to buy this book. This book is a fantastic book. I would give this 10 out of 10. In fact, no, it's not a perfect book, I wouldn't say. I'd probably give it 9.5 out of 10. It's not perfect because it doesn't have his full career in there, but if it did, it'd be a lot thicker than that. Because that's 1/3 of his title, so it's going to be a massive collection by the time he's finished writing everything he's got to write about, and hopefully nothing happens to him in the meantime where he's in a situation where he can't write that next book. So I'm really looking forward to that next book of his. So yeah, I would really recommend that people read this book, and look out for my future videos, because if you enjoyed this and you want to hear about more books, I'll be reviewing a lot more. So yeah, keep an eye for that. Bye.